Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Command. Thanks for tuning in. In the past couple of days, some news has come out from Bakkt related to their plans to launch Bitcoin futures in coordination with the Intercontinental Exchange. With plans to use ICE's infrastructure, Bakkt is working to deliver regulated trading, clearing, and warehousing that would enable access for institutional investors in a regulated market. The news that's come out is that the Bakkt launch will be delayed yet again, as ICE has not received approval from the CFTC for this to happen. The date has been pushed back from January 24th to a currently unknown date, but Bakkt does plan to provide an update on timing by the end of the first quarter. So the anticipation for this to roll out will continue to wait, but it will be interesting to see what the timing is on this once an update is provided. So on other news with Bakkt, one thing that has come out, this is just a little teaser here on the Twitter link on Bakkt's homepage, is that Worth magazine just released a list of the 100 most powerful men and women in global finance. So if we go through that list, you can see a number of notable world leaders and people involved in finance, a lot of leaders of major banks, other players in the crypto space like Blythe Masters is on this list. But of course, people that run the SEC in the United States, Jay Clayton. I won't read you everyone on this list. I will post it down below if you're curious and want to scroll through everyone who's on here. But people like Warren Buffett, of course, a lot of very notable names. This is funny. There's no picture here, of course, but Satoshi Nakamoto is listed on here. Jeff Sprecher, the CEO of ICE, is on here. And as we go down the list a little bit, we do get to Kelly Loeffler, CEO of Bakkt. So it's great to see recognition for what Bakkt is trying to build by groups like this, and putting her alongside people who have so much influence in the global financial markets. As you continue to go down the list, you see that Kelly is above people like Carl Icahn and others that you certainly would be very familiar with: Bill Ackman, Mark Andreessen, Mark Zuckerberg, Anthony Scaramucci. So this is a pretty illustrious list to be involved with. So this was definitely fun to scroll through a little bit. So the big news for Bakkt, as Kelly posted in this Medium article on New Year's Eve, is that Bakkt has completed their first capital raise. And this first institutional round of funding is pretty significant. The company raised $182.5 million. And that's a lot of jack. So there is a lot of money, a lot of institutional investors that are believing in what Bakkt is trying to build here. So if you look through the history of institutional investors investing in the crypto space, there have certainly been large institutional rounds, companies like Coinbase and Circle that have raised mega rounds, but those were much later in stage. I believe those were around the Series E stage, whereas this is the first raise for Bakkt. So a lot of people are believing in what they're building very early on. So some of those investors include groups like Galaxy Digital, the Mike Novogratz group. ICE itself is putting money in. Pantera Capital, definitely a notable investor in the crypto space. And there are also strategic investors like Microsoft, is investing through their venture capital arm, M12. So big group of people here believing, of course, not only in what we're paying attention to in the immediate future with the launch of Bitcoin futures through ICE, but also, of course, the big vision here being able to work with companies like Starbucks and getting digital assets to a much bigger group of merchants and making this all work for consumer uses. So the vision here is definitely not lost on the institutional investors. So that is pretty exciting. But I think one thing to take away as we enter 2019 is the amount of capital that is now coming into the crypto space through institutional investors. So this definitely seems to be a trend that is growing. And so one thing I pulled is the number of deals, investments that have happened over time through institutional investors. So be it from private equity or through venture capital or strategics. This number, most of this is venture capital that has gone in. But if you look at, these are measuring the actual number of deals that have happened over time. If we go way back to 2010, there was basically nothing happening. And this has absolutely grown over time. And so, despite what we saw in the markets being down in 2018, the number of deals that were getting done from institutional investors has grown dramatically, more than a doubling over 2017. So the interest from the institutional investors has definitely not waned. And so it will be really exciting to see this move into 2019. And I think the trend, seeing something like Bakkt kicking this off as we really roll into the new year, hopefully will set the standard of things going forward. And I definitely don't think that we will see rounds quite as large as what we saw with Bakkt here, but continuing to see a large number of companies getting funding through this type of traditional mechanism will help bring some stability to the space and help advance projects. So all in all, definitely seems to be that the trends are exciting. So curious what you think about what is happening with Bakkt. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Would love to hear your thoughts. And if this type of information is interesting to you, please hit the like button on this. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I will continue to bring you new news in the crypto space. But thanks for tuning in today and watching. Until next time, keep counting those coins.